Welcome back if you are returning, and if you're new here, I'm Miranda, and this is What's Left of Me. Before we jump into this week, I just want to start by saying that this isn't the episode I originally had planned for this week. My next guest episode is going to come out next Wednesday instead, but today I needed to slow down. I needed to breathe, and I needed to be honest about what this week has looked like for me. I needed to be still. I lost a friend this week, someone from, I don't know how I'm going to get through this episode. Someone from my childhood, someone tied to a really specific season of my life. And it shook me in ways I honestly didn't expect when I got the news. And with that came grief, but also memories. Great memories with him and our group of friends, and even harder memories from that season of my life. Old feelings I didn't even realize were still tucked away. Parts of me I am now realizing are still very much unhealed. Before we get into that, we have to be intentional. We have to start this off by grounding ourselves. So if you will, go ahead and take a deep breath with me. I've been sitting in memories I haven't visited in a very long time. The older I get, the more I realize how much of my childhood I've had to quietly survive. And how much I depended on certain moments and people to pull me through. That group of friends, that chapter of my life, it all distracted me from what was happening at home. It gave me somewhere to breathe. And losing someone from that chapter, someone who helped carry me through some really heavy things, it brought all of it back up. Not just the grief of losing him, but the grief of realizing how much I was holding back then. And how much of an impact he had on my life by being such a positive influence and distraction during a time that I really needed. And now all of these people, some I haven't spoken to in years, are suddenly coming together again for the same reason. We're all adults now. Some are married, some with kids, everyone with careers, living all over the country. But this loss brought us right back to the same starting point. Not as the kids walking to gas stations or riding bikes all over town or sneaking out of windows or maybe even boxing events in backyards. That one's for you, Cody. If you know, you know. But as adults realizing how precious and fragile life really is. And it's bittersweet because I am so excited to see everyone I truly am, but it's so heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that it's happening under these circumstances. And it makes you realize just how much time has passed, how much we've all lived, survived, carried, and let go of since those days. And boy, let me tell you, panic attacks, there's something else. You either understand exactly what I'm saying because you've been there, or you think that the people having them are absolutely batshit crazy for experiencing them. But my body has been reacting before my mind could even process anything. My heart rate spikes, my chest tightens, I feel lightheaded, you name it. This feels like grief working its way through my body, and I want to talk about that because I think sometimes we don't realize how deeply grief can live in our nervous system. It literally forces you to stop what you're doing. Life doesn't go as planned, and suddenly you're pulled into the present, into the now, where you have no choice but to be still and listen to what your body is asking for. The crazy thing is, over the years, I've experienced a lot of loss, and nothing has been so triggering until now. Not because those relationships didn't mean anything to me or because they didn't hold value or weren't close to my heart. I think Like I said, I think this one is hitting differently because it's tied to a season where this group of friends distracted me from things I didn't have the tools to face at the time or on my own because I was a kid. And I needed that. I needed to be a kid. I needed to laugh and to make memories and have moments where the weight wasn't so heavy, if that makes any sense. But this week, my body forced me to be still, not to push, not to produce, this amazing next episode with a guest, not be numb, just feel, sit with it, honor it, and let myself be human. This week forced me into a kind of realness I couldn't avoid. It started the day I found out my friend passed away. Earlier that afternoon, I had recorded Ashley's episode, the one that was supposed to come out this week for you guys. And Desiree came with her. You guys know Desiree from episode 3. And Desiree and I, we both grew up with Cody, our friend who passed away. And when we found out the news, we cried. But honestly, we were in shock. We shared some memories out loud. We processed what we could, but it still didn't feel real yet. And something about me, of who I am, something I've carried my whole life. If you know me, then you can, you can attest to this. But I tend to go straight into caretaker mode when anything happens in life. No matter the severity of a situation, I push my own feelings down so I can take care of everyone else first. So in that moment, instead of letting myself fall apart, I immediately felt responsible to reach out to old friends from that chapter of my life to make sure they knew. And there's a heaviness. Sorry. There is a heaviness to that. Being the one to break news like that to someone. Carrying the weight of delivering something that will change someone else's day, someone else's heart in their life. And it wasn't until they left, until the noise stopped, that the heaviness settled into my body. That quiet was the first moment I felt everything. I'm trying to pull myself together right now. That same night, I went on TikTok live like I always do. For anyone who doesn't know, I've been doing that full time for 3 years now, 3 years plus at this point. But I logged on maybe for a distraction, but someone, casual conversation, asked how my day was. And for the first time, I had to say it out loud, not in shock, not distracted, not busy, but truthfully. And the second I said the words, I felt my body start to shake. My heart rate began that slow, steady climb. My chest felt tight. My breathing got shallow. Heck, I have an Apple Watch and it showed that it was at the mid 90s, so it wasn't too high yet, but at this point it was creeping towards triple digits. And I tried to keep talking. I tried to drink some water. I kept telling myself in my head that I was fine, but the more honest I was, the more my body unraveled. And because most people don't know how to respond to death, the chat went quiet. Not out of cruelty, but because people genuinely don't know what to say in situations like that. But when you're on the edge of a panic attack, silence feels like someone pulled the floor out from under you. At this point, my heart rate shot into the 120s and the 130s, eventually into the 140s. I ended the stream abruptly and stood up. And just at that moment, on top of panic, sent my heart rate even higher. At this point, it was at like 172. I went straight to the freezer, grabbed an ice pack, and laid in bed trying to get my body back under control. My heart was pounding, my hands were shaking, and I was scared that if I cried and allowed myself to feel those emotions, that it would just spike my heart rate even more. slowly, after a while, after what felt like forever, honestly, it started to come down. And that's when I realized I needed to stop ignoring what my body was trying so hard to tell me. I needed to be still. It forced me to be still. It literally took me away from essentially working to be still and to be in the moment. So the next day, Sunday, I did something different. I slowed all the way down. I woke up. I did some skincare. I watched church on live stream with my coffee. I didn't rush myself. I didn't try to rush to working or push through anything. I paid attention to exactly what my body needed. I then went to cryotherapy. And let me tell you, 7 full minutes at negative 165 degrees usually would sound incredibly impossible and uncomfortable, but I was blasting elevation worships when wind meets fire. And if you've never heard of it, I highly recommend it. Maybe even pause this, go listen and come back. But I had it blasting in my headphones. And for anyone who doesn't know about cryotherapy, it's basically like you walk into this freezer. Okay. And it's a must that you have to have your feet covered, your ears covered, your mouth covered, your hands covered, and no jewelry. That's it. So I'll let you use your imagination, but bare minimum, I'll say that, bare minimum, aside from socks, slippers, mittens, a face mask, and some earmuffs with headphones. But so I had this blasting in my headphones, and for those 7 minutes, everything went quiet. My mind, my thoughts, the grief, all silent. Cryotherapy forces your nervous system into a full reset. Your body switches into survival mode, so everything else goes still. Your breathing regulates, your heart rate steadies. Heck, at one point, my body felt warm because I was calm. It really brings you back to a baseline you didn't even realize you were missing. After cryotherapy, I went straight into red light therapy, followed by a healthy lunch and yoga later in the day. I treated my body gently. Rest, nutrition, hydration, as much calmness as I could possibly give it. And for the first time, I felt something settle inside of me. Didn't fix anything. I wasn't healed. I wasn't over it, because I definitely continued to cry about it for days, even up until now. But I was grounded. Like my body finally had room to breathe again. That's the thing that people sometimes miss. Sometimes your body whispers and sometimes it screams. And when it's screaming at you to slow down, to breathe, to step back, don't miss the sign. Don't explain it away. Don't push through it because life is busy or people need you or your to-do list feels louder than your own heartbeat. Life will always be overwhelming. Always. The responsibilities, the expectations, the noises, none of that is going anywhere. But you only get one body, one nervous system, one heart trying its best to carry everything you've lived through. I remember hearing once before, if you don't schedule a break, your body will take one for you, and it probably won't be at a convenient time. And that has stuck with me for years because that is the truest thing. And the truth is, the chaos will still be there when you're done grounding yourself. The emails, the errands, the deadlines, the people, they're all still going to exist when you come back. But those moments you take for yourself, even if it's a couple minutes, those pauses where you let your body catch up to your emotions, where you breathe and soften and let yourself be human, those moments matter. They're not inconveniences, they're invitations. So I'm giving myself this week to do exactly that, to breathe, to honor my friend Cody, and to honor the younger version of me who lived through more than she ever should have. That part of my story might one day become its own episode, but not yet. And if you're carrying something heavy right now too, I hope this reminds you that you aren't alone. You aren't alone, and you don't have to rush your healing. I'm sorry for the change in schedule, but I truly felt like this deserves space. It deserved honesty. If you're walking through something right now, whether that's grief, old childhood wounds resurfacing, memories you didn't expect to feel again, I want you to know it's okay to pause. You don't have to power through everything. You don't have to pretend you're fine. Acknowledging what hurt you, no matter what it looks like or how long ago it happened, that's not weakness. It's actually one of the most courageous things you can do. And you deserve the space to feel it, to name it, and to heal it at your own pace. And that's why being still matters. Because if I had pushed through my week like nothing happened, none of these realizations would have come up. I wouldn't have honored these memories. I wouldn't have honored the girl I used to be. And I wouldn't have honored what losing Cody really meant to me. So with that, I'm giving myself this week to breathe, to honor my friend, to spend time with old friends who are visiting to grieve and pay respects, to honor the younger version of me who lived through more than she ever should have. And if you're carrying something heavy right now too, I hope this reminds you that you aren't alone and you don't have to rush your healing. Before I close out today, I just want to say this. Grief is one of the most human things we will ever experience. It cracks us open in ways we don't expect, and it reminds us how precious and fragile our time on this earth really is. If you took anything from this episode, I hope it's this. You deserve compassion. You deserve rest. You deserve moments where you can breathe without apologizing for it. And I want to take a moment to honor my friend Cody. He was a bright, steady part of my childhood. Someone who helped carry me through a season I didn't fully understand at that time. Without full details, his passing was related to type 1 diabetes. And in his memory, I want to bring recognition to those who live with this condition every single day. So today's episode is dedicated to him and to everyone who navigates the daily realities of type 1 diabetes with strength and resilience. Cody, thank you for the laughter, the memories, the innocence of those years, and the impact you didn't even know that you had on so many people. You will be missed and you will be remembered. Look, I don't even care about college football, but you are out of your mind if you think I'm not rooting for Alabama in memory of you this weekend against Georgia. Okay. Oh boy. Like, I'm supposed to know what roll tide means, okay? I don't even watch college football, but I'm gonna this weekend. And to everyone listening, take a breath. Be gentle with yourself. And know that you're never walking through your healing alone. And also, we hear it often, but honestly, we don't take action in it enough. If you love someone, whether that's a family member, a friend, or a significant other, no matter how often you speak to them, tell them. because you truly never know when it'll be the last. Once again, I am sorry for the short episode this week. As always, with all of the love in the world, I'll see you next week.